Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps here. I'm your host Stephen Harrold, and in today's video we will be looking at the first round of the 2023 Stanley Cup Playoffs. The playoffs are among us. We have 16 teams fighting for Lord Stanley's prize, but only one can actually win it all. So without further ado, I'm going to be taking you guys on my personal picks for each of the winners of all the series in the first round of this year's playoffs. We're going to start with the West in this one first, as we're going to be looking at the first round series between the Seattle Kraken and the reigning defending Stanley Cup champions Colorado Avalanche. Now, this is obviously the first time the Seattle Kraken have made it to the playoffs in their second season, so that's a great turnaround. While as the Colorado Avalanche obviously are looking to do what Tampa did and repeat as Stanley Cup champions. With notable injuries like Landeskog and Makar out for God knows when, as we all know, Landeskog's practically gone all season for the whole entire playoffs now. We don't really know for sure how this is going to be a factor, but we know that Colorado still has elite players. It's just, I feel like Seattle is going to be just a little bit more hungrier now that they have to, break the trend of, hey, we're in the playoffs for the first time in our franchise's history, so how about we win a game? Or hell, even win a series. Or hell, even win the Stanley Cup. So for this season's first round matchup between these two teams, I'm actually going to pick the Seattle Kraken to upset the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games. Next up, we have the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild, a very green series in this one. Dallas, obviously, as we all know, was in the Stanley Cup final back in 2020, where they lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And of course, the Minnesota Wild have never really made it to the Stanley Cup finals in their franchise's history. But Minnesota has pretty much been a playoff contender for the last few seasons, but would just never get over that hump of the first round. And sadly enough to say, with how strong Dallas has become in the whole entire season and how they are gelling as a team itself, I just don't think Minnesota has it this year. So for my prediction, I do predict it's going to be a tough series, but Dallas is going to win in Game 7. Next up, we have a conference finals rematch, well, technically a rematch from 2018, with the Winnipeg Jets versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas missing the playoffs last season, we didn't miss them then, but now, oh great, they're in the fucking playoffs now, so God forbid, fucking hell. Anywho, the Winnipeg Jets, obviously, they want to be able to make it on a deep run and maybe have a better resolve than what they did back in 2018 when they lost to the Vegas Golden Knights in the conference finals in 5 games. And in this series, I do believe Winnipeg will get their redemption, as I believe the Winnipeg Jets will upset the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. And the last series that we're going to be looking at in the West is between the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. Of course, this is a rematch from last season. It's first round matchup in the playoffs. And of course, as we all know, the Oilers ended up eliminating the Kings to face Calgary in the second round. Now, of course, no Calgary this year, but of course, what's there to it? I mean, like, the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are just still the top discussions when it comes to the league. I mean, like, let's face it, we don't have Malkin and Crosby of the Penguins. Now it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl of the Oilers, practically. And with Connor McDavid having 150 fucking points this season, it's no denying that he is one of the greatest hockey players in the league today. But of course, with the Kings, it's a little bit questionable in net, but their roster pretty much has gelled very well enough to make the playoffs. But sadly, I do see the Edmonton Oilers edging out the Kings, but this time in 6 games. Now moving on to the Eastern Conference, we have the President's Trophy winning team of the Boston Bruins taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, the Florida Panthers won the President's Trophy last season and got swept in the second round by the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Boston Bruins just were dominant all season, right? 65 wins. No other team has ever come that close. The only 2 teams that have ever had a great record were the Detroit Red Wings in 1995 and 96 and the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2018-19. And Bruins just surpassed them all. They had been breaking records all season long. But winning a President's Trophy is not really a good thing, right? I mean, us Tampa fans should know. And the Boston Bruins, you guys technically won the conference championship in 2020 when it was just practically handed to you. And that didn't go very well, did it? Now, of course, I do cheer for the Tampa Bay Lightning, of course, so I should have that rivalry with the Florida Panthers, but I actually respect the Florida Panthers, and I fucking despise the Boston Bruins. So if I want anything better, I want the Boston Bruins to get swept. But I have this feeling it's not going to be a sweep, so something tells me there's going to be another upset. I feel like the Boston Bruins are going to have a repeat of 2010 and get reverse swept in 7 games. Heading over to the Metropolitan Division, we have the New Jersey Devils taking on the New York Rangers. Of course, the Devils had missed the playoffs for quite some time, and the Rangers are coming off the success of another great season where they had previously in the last playoffs go to the conference finals and lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, of course, as we all know, the Rangers are star-studded now. With not only Zibanejad and Panarin and the goalie of Shesterkin, they now have the additions of Tarasenko and Patrick Kane. So at this rate, Rangers fans, you pretty much now know it's cup or bust. You have to win a cup this season. And with the Devils, when they went on their big win streak, surprised everybody and secured their spot in the playoffs. And I'm just wondering if they're actually still ready. To me, I don't think they're quite there yet. It's great that they made the playoffs and they actually are done with the rebuild of a rebuild of a rebuild. But sadly, I'd have to say, Devils fans, I know you guys have this rivalry with the Rangers, but I do pick the Rangers winning in 7 games. Now we move on to the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New York Islanders in this series. Now, of course, the Islanders, no stranger to them. The Tampa Bay Lightning beat them in 2020 and 2021's conference finals. And of course, the Carolina Hurricanes, a team that should have won the cup not too long ago, or even recently, just can't seem to find it. Of course, that team is still star-studded, but of course, with Svechnikov being shelved, it's going to hurt their chances. Now, as the Islanders, yeah, they look like they're not quite gelling very well, but with the addition of Bo Horvat, it's a great addition. Now, what do I personally think of this series? I think we all know the Islanders, they just happen to just find a way to win every single fucking time, especially come playoff time. So that's why I think it's going to happen again, where the Islanders are going to beat the Hurricanes in 7 games. And of course, the last series in the Eastern Conference that I have to discuss is the Blue and White Series, a rematch. The Blue and White Series Part 2 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, as we all know, last season, these two teams fought in the first round, and Tampa prevailed in Game 7. Like I said, every single fucking year when I hear about the Toronto Maple Leafs making the playoffs, we always have to hear Leafsnet, boast about this team and how great they are. And they're going to go the distance. They always say they're going to win the cup or they're going to go to the conference finals. Oh, they're going to do... They never talk about the first round because they know, like, no, we're going to win the first round, and they never do. Whereas Tampa, they have a different path they want to go for, and that's 3 Stanley Cups in 4 years since we were denied a dynasty. So where do I see this going? I know Leafs fans are going to sit there and be like, yeah, we know who you're picking. And you'd be correct. I'm obviously going to be picking the Tampa Bay Lightning to win this series, but in 6 games. You guys ain't making it to 7. Sorry, not sorry. So tell me, guys, who do you think's winning in the first round? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up and also subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can get notified about all the other playoff videos coming out on this channel. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. My name's Stephen Harrold, and I will talk to you guys later. The playoffs are upon us. Go Bolts!